Good morning, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. It's Monday, September 29th, 2025, and this is your AM Update.
Well, there's certainly going to be more indictments coming over the next 3.5 years of the Trump administration.
Vice President J.D. Vance says the indictment of former FBI Director James Comey is just the beginning as new reports surface on the specifics of the case. A gunman opening fire on a Mormon church in Michigan before setting it ablaze, killing at least 4. President Trump deploys the National Guard to Portland, Oregon.
I cannot continue my re-election campaign.
And Eric Adams drops his re-election bid for New York City mayor. All that and more coming up in just a moment on your AM Update. I've been talking a lot about Riverbend Ranch lately because I love their steaks. Riverbend Ranch has taken Black Angus beef to a whole new level. For the last 35 years, Riverbend Ranch has been creating a very elite Angus herd by using ultrasound to select genetically superior cattle with a focus on flavor and tenderness. When you purchase from Riverbend Ranch, you're not only supporting the 64 cowboys and cowgirls and their families who work on the ranch, you're also supporting over 260 other U.S. ranches and the hundreds of American families who work on them. It is born in the USA, it's raised in the USA, it's processed in the USA. It is beef that is aged to perfection for 21 days, then shipped directly from the ranch to your home. This is not your average Black Angus beef. So order from riverbendranch.com. Use the promo code Megyn for $20 off your first order, and let me know what you think. riverbendranch.com, promo code Megyn. We're starting to learn more about the details of the case against former FBI Director James Comey. Multiple outlets reporting count 1 of the indictment against Comey making false statements to Congress involves his alleged decision to authorize his friend, Daniel Richman, to leak information to reporters about an FBI investigation related to Hillary Clinton. According to the indictment, Comey, quote, did willfully and knowingly make a false statement when he told the Senate Judiciary Committee in September 2020 that he never authorized anyone at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports regarding an investigation concerning Person 1. Person 1 is not defined, but reports indicate it's Hillary Clinton. According to the indictment, Comey knew he had authorized Person 3, also not defined, but believed to be Richmond, to serve as an anonymous source to reporters regarding the investigation into Person 1, again, Mrs. Clinton. The indictment leaves unspecified exactly which news reports the charges are in reference to. CNN reporting they center around alleged leaks related to articles involving the FBI's investigation into Mrs. Clinton's private email server back in 2016. Richmond, a Columbia Law School professor and former personal lawyer to Comey, was brought on as a special governmental employee for the FBI by Comey from 2015 through February 2017. In 2017, Comey testifying that he also gave Richmond his personal memos about President Trump, instructing Richmond to leak them to the media. Comey was hoping it would lead to a special counsel appointment after President Trump fired Comey in May of 2017, and his gamble was successful. Comey's leak through Richmond clearly contributed to the decision by Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein at the time to appoint Robert Mueller as special counsel. However, that episode does not appear connected to this indictment, which appears more about the leaks related to Hillary. ABC News reporting that Richmond met with federal investigators on September 16th of this year. Richmond is not accused of any illegal activity connected to the Comey indictment. Comey is the first former FBI director ever to be indicted, the news sending shockwaves through the political stratosphere, galvanizing both sides of the aisle. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer reacting to the indictment Sunday on Meet the Press.
I have no faith in Donald Trump's judicial system. He has turned this judicial system to be his own political fighter, do what he wants politically, so that he tells them to go after people he doesn't like. He tells them to exonerate people that he likes. Trump's done so many bad things to undermine our democracy, to undermine our norms. This is one of the very worst.
Vice President J.D. Vance on Fox News saying, this is just the beginning of holding officials responsible for their actions.
Well, there's certainly going to be more indictments coming over the next 3.5 years of the Trump administration, but we're always going to let the law drive this stuff and the facts of the case and not political motivations. If you look at the Comey indictment, Martha, this was a grand jury indictment delivered in Alexandria, Virginia, not exactly a hotbed of Donald Trump's political support. There were three requested indictments. The grand jury returned 2 of those 3 indictments. So I think they showed they were judicious. I think that it showed clearly that there were a couple of things that James Comey did wrong.
Comey's arraignment is set for October 9th. He faces 1 count of making false statements to Congress and 1 count of obstruction of an investigative proceeding. Each carries a maximum of 5 years in prison. Mr. Comey maintains his innocence. 10 people shot, at least 4 killed Sunday morning when a gunman rammed a vehicle through the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan, before opening fire on the congregation. The suspect, identified as a 40-year-old man from nearby Burton, Michigan, a military veteran, according to reports based on his social media accounts, killed by police in a shootout. The FBI is now leading the investigation, calling it an act of targeted violence, though Special Agent in Charge Reuben Coleman did not offer more specifics at a press briefing last night. Police Chief William Rennie saying 7 more victims are in stable condition, 1 is in critical. Investigators believe the suspect acted alone, deliberately setting the church on fire by lighting an accelerant. The ATF confirming several suspected explosive devices were discovered at the scene. Michigan State Police responding to multiple bomb threats throughout the community, called in after the attack. Authorities have cleared those areas and urged the community to remain vigilant. Authorities expecting the number of victims to increase in the aftermath of the fire. Chief Rennie saying the building is a total loss and some church members are still unaccounted for. Hundreds of people were in the church at the time of the attack. One witness, identified only by her first name, Paula, describing the scene to Scripps News.
One of our counselors was up speaking, and we heard a big bang and the doors blew. And then everybody rushed out. Surreal. I didn't know what was going on. And I didn't know if we were going to have to get down because we couldn't see anybody. It was just scary. I mean, I came to worship my Savior Jesus Christ, and I didn't expect this to happen, of course, and I've lost friends in there.
Law enforcement is working to search the suspect's phone and residence, looking for a motive. The New York Post reporting he served in the Marines from 2004 to 2008. Pictures of the alleged vehicle used in the attack show 2 large American flags mounted to the back. President Trump writing on Truth Social yesterday, quote, "I have been briefed on the horrendous shooting. The suspect is dead, but there is still a lot to learn. This appears to be yet another targeted attack on Christians in the United States of America. The Trump administration will keep the public posted, as we always do. In the meantime, pray for the victims and their families. This epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately." Coming up, President Trump sending the National Guard to Portland, Oregon, as Portland sues to block the move. And New York City Mayor Eric Adams drops his troubled re-election bid in an attempt to stop Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani. You know all those fad diets. Half of Americans do it. And if you do it enough, you could be at risk of diabetes, liver damage, heart attack, and stroke. Weight cycling is when you lose 10 or more pounds, but then you put the pounds back on, plus a couple more. That puts tremendous strain on your organs and can lead to serious health issues. Bottom line, most people need help to stop weight cycling. And this is why I want to tell you about non-prescription Lean, created by doctors. Lean is an oral supplement, not a GLP-1 injectable. It uses studied ingredients, which Lean says target weight loss in 3 powerful ways: maintaining healthy blood sugar, helping control appetite and cravings, burning fat by converting it to energy. And burning fat helps keep the weight off. If you want to lose meaningful weight at a healthy pace and keep it off, consider adding Lean to your diet and exercise lifestyle. Get 20% off when you enter MK at takelean.com. That's code MK at takelean.com. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth on Sunday ordering 200 National Guard troops to deploy in Portland, Oregon for 60 days under an order to protect ICE and other federal property where protests are occurring or are likely to. The previous morning on Truth Social, Mr. Trump directing Secretary Hegseth to provide troops to protect ICE at the request of DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. Mr. Trump writing on Truth Social, he is authorizing, quote, full force to protect, quote, war-ravaged Portland and any of our ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. President Trump singling out protests around ICE facilities in Portland on Thursday.
And you see what's happening in Portland. This is like nobody's ever seen anything like it every night. And this has gone on for years. They just burned the place down. And, you know, the shop owners, most of them have left. But the few shops that are open, they just use plywood and just like 3/4-inch plywood. Take a look at Portland sometime. These are wild. These are crazy people. And they're trying to burn down buildings, including federal buildings. And we cannot let our cities, and that's a small example, but it's the most violent example. It's every night, and they've done it for years. You'd think maybe at some point they made their point, and what are they doing? But we're going to get out there, and we're going to do a pretty big number of those people in Portland that are doing that.
Oregon and the city of Portland filing a lawsuit against Mr. Trump to block the deployment, seeking a temporary restraining order. Governor Tina Kotek and Portland Mayor Keith Wilson, both Democrats, maintain there's no need for troops in the city. Oregon officials calling an emergency press conference on Saturday, Mayor Wilson saying his city is peaceful.
The number of necessary troops is 0 in Portland and any other American city. And let me repeat that. This is an American city. We do not need any intervention. This is not a military target. The president will not find lawlessness or violence here. I've been so deeply disappointed to see the footage from a half decade ago recycled and then recycled again. If President Trump came to Portland today, what he would find is people riding their bikes, playing sports, enjoying the sunshine, buying groceries or produce from a farmer's market. At the end of the day, this may be a show of force, but that's all it is. It's a big show. And after a big show, everyone goes home, and that's what I want to happen here today.
In a Sunday morning phone interview with NBC, Mr. Trump saying, quote, I spoke to the governor. She was very nice. But I said, well, wait a minute. Am I watching things on television that are different from what's happening? My people tell me different. They are literally attacking, and there are fires all over the place. It looks terrible. Multiple news organizations reporting on daily protesting activity outside of an ICE detention facility since June. At times, those protests, indeed, turning violent. The Oregonian reporting in June, several people used a stop sign as a makeshift battering ram, shattering the front door of the building. CBS 13 News reporting some federal agents have been injured in recent protests, resulting in several protesters being charged with assault. According to KTV B7, more than 24 people have been arrested protesting Portland's ICE facility. The exterior of that facility has been boarded up since June. Protesters spray painting epithets and threats like Nazis and shoot ICE pigs all over the building. On Sunday, video emerging appearing to show some 7 or so Portland cops retreating in the face of hundreds of protesters who outnumbered them, the cops walking backward and then biking away. The protesters holding signs that read F ICE, ICE equals terror, and obeying Trump makes you a war criminal. Police with riot gear backed up by federal agents are seen in other video pushing back the protesters. As the state attorney general's motion for a temporary restraining order was just filed, a court date for the hearing has not yet been set. New York City Mayor Eric Adams dropping his re-election bid on Sunday. The decision announced in a nearly 9-minute-long video posted to social media, largely focusing on his achievements in life and as mayor and blaming the media.
Despite all we've achieved, I cannot continue my re-election campaign. The constant media speculation about my future and the campaign finance board's decision to withhold millions of dollars have undermined my ability to raise the funds needed for a serious campaign.
In August, New York City's campaign finance board denying Mayor Adams' request for millions in matching funds for the 10th time, citing paperwork errors as well as allegations linked to the federal bribery case against Adams that was ultimately dismissed by the Trump DOJ. Mayor Adams' name will remain on the ballot because the deadline to remove it passed in May. Recent polls showing Adams hovering around 8%, trailing behind Democratic Socialist candidate Zohran Mamdani, Independent candidate, and former Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo, who is in second. Republican candidate Curtis Sliwa remains in third. Mamdani up 19% over Cuomo in the Real Clear Politics polling average. Polling indicates a much tighter race than a hypothetical head-to-head matchup between Cuomo and Mamdani. However, the Curtis Sliwa campaign indicating the candidate has no plans to drop out. Adams did not endorse Cuomo, though in his social media post, he did take a swipe at Mamdani.
Too often, insidious forces use local government to advance divisive agendas with little regard for how it hurts everyday New Yorkers. Major change is welcome and necessary, but beware of those who claim the answer to destroy the very system we built together over generations. That is not change, that is chaos.
Former Governor Cuomo releasing a statement, quote, "The choice Eric Adams made today was not an easy one, but I believe he is sincere in putting the well-being of New York City ahead of personal ambition. We face destructive extremist forces that would devastate our city through incompetence or ignorance, but it is not too late to stop them." Mamdani telling News 12 he expected Adams to drop out, saying New Yorkers are ready to, quote, "move on from big money and small ideas." According to Polymarket, Mamdani had an 87% chance to win the race before Adams dropped out. He now sits at 84%. The election is just 5 weeks away. It will be held on November 4th. And that'll do it for your AM update. I'm Megyn Kelly. Join me back here for the Megyn Kelly Show, live on SiriusXM Triumph Channel 111 at noon East, on youtube.com/Megyn Kelly, and on all podcast platforms.